Hey guys, what's going on? So one of my job entails working with hospitals from time to time, and one of the hospitals that I work with, I've been going there, this particular hospital, for about a year, and I go into this entrance that I've always gone to, since the year I've been working with this hospital, and now it's an automatic door, but now it's closed, and there are nurses with these paper masks sitting behind a desk. And one of the nurses opens the door for me, and I'm like, thanks. And he's like, you don't have coronavirus, do you? And I was like, no. And then I was like, those masks don't work, by the way. And he's like, oh, they're to protect you. I was like, yeah, but they don't work. You need a hazmat suit. If technically, according to your theory about viruses, like the paper masks, they're very porous, and the viruses are small, and they can actually go through. They're smaller than the porous holes in the mask. So the paper masks don't protect you. I didn't go into that much detail when talking about it with him, but I know this, okay? It's common sense. You can look it up. Maybe it's not common sense because a lot of people are wearing these. I should be investing in the paper mask industry, by the way. But so I go about my business, and I can tell he's kind of perturbed and stuff. And then I was thinking, I was like, I need to go back and ask him a few questions, because I had my opinions, but then I was just thinking, well, maybe I'm missing something, so maybe I should just ask him a question. As a civilian, right? I think I'm allowed to ask questions, right? So I'm really nice and really polite, and I'm like, hey, I'm just curious, how are you, screening for it? And he's like, oh, if you have a cough or fever, and you've been to any of the states that have it. I was like, but isn't it couldn't it be just the flu? And there was this nurse that was behind him. She was looking at me, and then she rolls her eyes, and she just goes back to work. And then the other two nurses talking to each other. And then the guy's like, oh, he's like, let's talk outside. Let's talk outside. And I was like, well, how do they screen? He's like, well, if you have those, if you've been to any of those other places, and you have a cough or fever, then, you qualify to be getting tested. And I'm just like, that doesn't really seem like objective criteria. It seems very subjective. And then he was like, well, it is. It's a very definitive test. And I'm just like, actually, they're not definitive. The PCR tests and the tests that they use, they're not really definitive. So it just seems like it's very subjective. And I was just curious if you had any other way of testing this, or making a strict confirmation on people that have the coronavirus. And he was like, well, it's just, you can die in a car accident. I was like, or a plane, how are you going to die? How are you going to die? You're going to die, how are you going to die? I was like, well, I'm probably going to die in my sleep of old age and health, because I'm really healthy and I'm an excellent driver. So I doubt I'm going to die in a car accident, And it was just kind of funny that he was just getting so mad that I was just asking questions. I just wanted to know from the people on the ground, what are they doing? Right? How is, and I was just like, to be honest, I just think this is being blown way out of proportion. Right? And he was like, oh, well, and then, he was like, well, and I think that's when he was saying, well, you can die in a car accident and stuff. I was like, but, and then he was like, I was like, with medical errors being the third leading cause of death, I'd want to take my chances with the coronavirus. I'd have more of a chance of surviving that probably than the coronavirus. And then he got really mad, and he was just he was so perturbed. He was like, well, what do you do? Are you in the medical industry? And I was like, no, because I actually want to heal people instead of hurt them. I was like, I thought about it, but a lot of the research, I was like, I did independent research on this for a while, and a lot of the research is tied up in the corruption with the pharmaceutical industry, and it's very biased. So, I don't really want to have to deal with the allopathic industry and stuff. And he was like, well, I don't think that people are trying to hurt people. I was like, I don't think anybody's trying to, hurt people. But I mean, those are facts. I was like, this is out of the British Medical Journal. This is out of Baylor University, talking about medical errors being the third leading cause of death. And in my mind, I'm thinking this because I made that video yesterday talking about doctors cause more death than the coronavirus, because it's true. So if it was really about saving lives and saving saving people, why aren't they like reevaluating why that's happening, instead of the minimal cases of coronaviruses where minimal people are dying, and then in those people there are already people that were already sick, and they don't have a definitive test, so you don't even know if it's the coronavirus, and they're just saying that they died, and they're just making shit up basically. I just think that they're making shit up. They're trying to cause fear in you guys, right? Fear, lowers the immune system, so that can cause an outbreak, right? They want people to panic. And I'm just like, I can't, like, I don't know. Today I was just at my wit's end, but I just had to say something, because I just can't take these people seriously and their paper masks, thinking that they're like being protected, and that they're protecting people by wearing these paper masks. Like, I used to wear them, and then I found found out that they don't work, and I was like, fuck this, why am I wearing this? This is stupid, right? To look cool, to look like it's dangerous, to be psychologically comfortable, those things are like, it's hard to breathe, and you look stupid. They look really uncool, I'm just sorry to say. And I thought it was funny that the nurse, I know they're not comfortable, so I know the nurse, before, when I came back the second time, I saw him through the glass, he actually had his paper mask off. And I'm thinking, well, I wanted to tell him that, and I wanted to be like, well, he did, and when he was talking to me, he took his paper mask off outside of the hospital. So I wanted to be like, I wasn't gonna be a bitch and be like, you should like put your mask on, because I could have the coronavirus and you might die, and then I saw that he had it off before, and then when I came up to the glass, he put it on. He's like, oh, like, I was like, you're full of shit, dude. Like, really, I mean, I know you're trying to do your job, and I would say most of the people in the hospital I go to, they're super, super, super nice. Like, I think nursing attracts some of the most heartfelt, like, altruistic people, because they really do want to hurt people. So my intent wasn't to insult his job, but I also thought I have the right to ask these questions as somebody that they work for, and not have an attitude. Like, I just really honestly wanted to know, because I thought I may be missing something, but I was right, they're full of shit. So I just thought that, I just wasn't expecting him to get so perturbed and like tell me that I might die in a car accident or like an airplane crash. I just wanted to know how they were testing. That's all I wanted to know. I didn't think it was going to turn into this like dramatic conversation. And then he started asking me, who did I work for? And I was like, I'm an independent contractor. I work for, like, so is he gonna tattle on me and try and get me in trouble because I didn't like automatically capitulate to their fucking coronavirus drama, to their fucking soap opera that they want to create? I'm just like, I'm not even living in fear about this shit. It's getting really annoying that, and I'm even more annoyed that it seems like he was just pissed off at the fact that I dare question the medical authorities, that I dare, question the Church of Allopathy. I'll make this clear, and I've made this clear in many of my videos. I work with naturopaths and acupuncturists and chiropractors and herbalists, and I've seen so much improvement in my health than when I was going to the allopaths. Now, if I'm in a car accident, knock on wood, or any physical trauma, like stabbing or shooting or broken bones, stuff like that, don't take me to the witch doctor. Take me to the hospital, because that's where they excel. But for all my other shit that I've been dealing with, autoimmune issues and stuff, I'm going on because has more, experience, thousands of years before the allopathic medical industry's been only around for like a few hundred, where like, Ayurveda, Chinese medicine, herbalism, homeopathy, naturopathy, acupuncture, acupressure, they've been practicing for thousands of years and they've had success. So, and like I said, which is true, you can look up that modern diseases came down because of sanitation, because people weren't pissing and pooping in the streets, because we have water purification, because we have, because we wash our hands, because of shit like that, when doctors didn't like wash their hands before like putting their dirty hands that they had on a dead body, but coming from the morgue and, putting them up in some woman's cooch when she was delivering babies. And the guy that figured this out, Semmelveis, because doctors and medical professionals have such big egos, they were, they drove him to insanity before they finally admitted that they were wrong. When shipmen were dying of scurvy, and the Native Americans knew that if they had ascorbic acid made with bark and pine needles and other, like what else has like rose hips and oranges and stuff, that would like cure scurvy, But, because of the ego, it took them 100 years and lots of people died before they figured out people were dying of like, lack of vitamin C. So I'm just tired of this shit. I'm tired of this, like, I hope there's no dramas Monday. Maybe he'll cool off by next weekend, but I'm just like, it's just hard. It's been hard for me not to laugh at them. And I think now that I'm just going to have to smirk when I walk by and just shake my head and just be like, all right, and I guess they have to do their job. I wonder how many nurses know what I know and still are just stuck doing their job. That sucks. I see and what I do, it's more likely that the nurses are more informed about this than the doctors. And then you still have nurses like that guy that got like all perturbed and shit, but for the most part, the people in the medical industry that do understand this, from my experiences, have been nurses, and the doctors are even worse than that. But like, how dare he just be like, oh, well, are you going to go into the medical field? Oh, and then he was like, maybe you make a difference. I was like, yeah, I think I will, but not in the medical field, not in, like, he was so mad. I just was like, I couldn't believe, like, I was trying to have a conversation with that, and like, I just wanted to laugh at him so bad, or I just feel like, I should have asked him. I should have been like, why are you getting so upset? Like, I wasn't even trying to like start an argument. I just really wanted to ask a question that, I thought that should be asked. And this is what you have to do too. I think what helps me with this, you have to realize that these people work for you. Like, you don't work for them. So you have the right to ask questions. And it's probably, I was saying, why is he getting so mad? I know he was getting mad because I was asking him questions and he couldn't answer. And nobody probably ever challenges them. They're just like, oh, doctor, nurse, we're not worthy. We'll do everything that you say, Whatever, dude. I don't think that, maybe he thought, because he said, nobody wants to hurt anybody. I don't think they want to hurt anybody. But, because of their training, you don't really question anything. They don't really use critical thinking. And because of that, I don't think that they are doing the best job that they can. And that sucks, so. Anyway, what is your experience? Do you think these fucking stupid ass paper masks work? I don't. I know they don't. If I see people walking around in hazmat suits, maybe I get more scared. But then I don't know. I just can't anymore. I can't with the paper mask. I just can't. All right, guys. That's it. Talk to you later. Peace and love. Bye-bye. Mwah.